How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another video on the channel, and today we'll be taking a look at my top 50 songs that came out in 2022. Thought it'd be cool to showcase some of the best songs I found this year and hopefully introduce you guys to some new music that you might enjoy. This will be my top 50 songs of the year, but the rankings don't matter too much until you get to sort of number 15 and below. That's when they really mattered. I kind of decided that the top 15 are going to be my favorite songs. Anything above that, you know, if one's in rank 30, one's in rank 50, it doesn't mean that I like one necessarily more than the other. It's just the top 15 are definitely my favorite and they stand out from the rest. So with that in mind, this might be quite a long video, so you know, sit back, relax and enjoy, and let's get into number 50. To start things off, at number 50 we've got Lana Del Rey's Did You Know There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard.
There's a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard.
This song only actually came out a few weeks ago. It came out at the start of December, but I thought I'd put it in this list because I always like Lana Del Rey and her music's always good, and it was just really nice to see her release a new song. I also thought it was quite funny that she only put up one billboard to advertise a song, and it was actually in her ex's hometown. But she did also announce that the album with the same name will be coming out in March of next year, so very much looking forward to that. Number 49 we have Freddie Gibbs' Dark Hearted. Now this song was released as a single in September during the build up to his newest album, Soul, sold separately. It's an album that I haven't actually reacted to yet, but I definitely am going to. It'll be on the channel in the near future. At number 48 we have Slow Tie's I Know Nothing. Now this is a really cool sort of experimental song from Slow Tie, and apparently his next album is going to be a bit more punky, a bit more rocky, and you can definitely tell with this song. Yeah, a really solid single from Slow Tie. Previous album, Tyron, was actually one of my favourite albums of 2021, so hoping that the next one, which is probably coming out in 2023, is just as good. At number 47 we have Tony by Interpol. It's going in the right direction. This was released as part of their EP Grand Hotel, and it's actually a really solid song. You know, Interpol are quite an old band that's point to be going for 20 plus years, but they're still making really good music. And yet again, it's another album that is probably coming out in 2023, so very much looking forward to that. Next up at number 46 we have Adios by Journey. The first song I've actually heard from the American band, but from what I've seen so far, they're really cool, so I'll definitely be checking out some more of their music next year. Number 45, we have Elle Sweatshirt's Titanic.
Did a dash, got out of Dodge, crashed out grandmama car.
It's probably going to be a bit of a theme of the video, but it's yet another album that I haven't actually listened to, but the song I have heard from the album is Titanic, and it's a really solid song. First sort of Elle Sweatshirt release for a few years, so it's good to see him back. Yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to the whole album. Okay, next up at number 44, we have Circle Waves' Carry You Home. They released a load of singles this year, but I think Carry You Home is probably my favourite. And yeah, yet another band that are releasing an album in 2023, so it's another thing to look forward to. At number 43, we have a band called Windows Speak with their song Everything Is Simple. This is another artist I discovered this year. Haven't really heard too much of them before, but this was released as part of their album The Jacket this year, and I definitely recommend checking them out if you haven't already. So that's the first 8 songs out the way, and at number 42 is Big Thief with Simulation Swarm. Now this band seemed really cool. I really like the artwork. I think the artwork's probably one of the best I've seen this year. It's just really simplistic, but I think it's really good. And yeah, they released their album, which is called Dragon New Warm Mountain I Believe in You, which is a fantastic name as well for an album. But it seems like a really interesting band, and I'm definitely going to check more out of them. But I definitely recommend listening to their song Simulation Swarm. At number 41, we have Bonobo and Joji with From You. And it's a really cool, chill song from Bonobo, and it was part of his album Fragments, which came out this year. And yeah, featured Joji. He's had another fantastic year, really big year for him personally. And I haven't actually listened to his new album yet, but I definitely will be. But yeah, he's had a great year in terms of his own release and features. And this is just another song that really showcases how good of a singer he actually is. But yeah, fantastic production on this song. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Okay, at number 40, we have Services with I Can't Help But Feel.
Yeah, I can't help but feel my groove.
It's a really cool dancey song, a great mood lifter. Now moving on to number 39, we have The Weeknd with Out of Time. And this song was released right at the start of 2022 in January, I'm pretty sure it was, as part of his album Dawn FM. It's a pretty cool album. I really like the inclusion of Jim Carrey over the radio. I think that was a really cool touch. But for me personally, there weren't too many songs on there that I was really a fan of. I might check it out again because it's been quite a long time since I listened to it. But the one song that really stood out for me personally was Out of Time. It had this really cool sort of soulful feel to it, kind of old school soul, funk, jazz feel to it. And speaking of soulful, funky songs, we have the Jack Moves at number 38 with Somebody's Watching You. And this song feels like it's ripped straight out of the 70s and 80s. It's really cool, something you feel like you kind of hear on Soul Train back in the day on TV. But I'm such a big fan of this type of music, and I'm really happy that there's kind of like a bit of a resurgence coming back for the old school soul music. We've obviously seen it with Silk Sonic and bands like that, but yeah, the Jack Moves are definitely another one to keep an eye on because they're making some fantastic music. At number 37, we have Simba featuring Pusha T and Never End Up Broke.
I remember being broke before I was in the mix. See, my bitch fucked a nigga Raekwon was serving bricks.
First I've seen of Simba, and I was really impressed with the production and the quality of this song. And as for Pusha T, he's had a fantastic year. His album was great. If you saw my last video, you know how much I like that album. And yeah, he's pretty much smashed this year with his own stuff and also his features. And moving on to number 36, we have the Arcs and Keep On Dreaming.
Go for a stroll in the park. Keep my mind in the dark.
Now this song's on a bit of a technicality because it actually was released a long time ago, but it never actually made it to streaming services. There's a really great video on YouTube from NPR Music, which is the live performance of this song, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's like a really small, intimate venue, and the music really pops. I think the live version is probably better than the studio version. But if you don't know about the Arcs, it's Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys. It's his other band, but they haven't actually released anything for a few years. I think since 2015, because unfortunately the bass player called Richard Swift passed away in 2018. But they have announced that early next year, I think in January, they will be releasing a new album. So it'll be the first album in about 8 years. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. And like I said, check out the NPR performance on their YouTube channel. It's absolutely fantastic. Coming in at number 35, we have All My Friends by King Princess.
Thing that matters is I'm coming home. You hate it.
King Princess is another artist that I really need to listen to more of. From what I've heard from her so far, her music's fantastic, and she's obviously known for her big single 1950. This song, For My Friends, was released as a single, but it made it onto her album Hold On Baby. Yet another album that I haven't listened to, but I definitely will be checking out. Okay, now we're moving on to the top 34, and starting off we have Gus Dapperton with Wet Cement. Gus Dapperton is one of my favourite alternative artists, I suppose you'd probably call him, and he's had another great year. He's had some great singles, great features. He's actually on a song which is coming up in a minute actually with Anna of the North, but this is one of my favourite songs that he has released this year. Something a bit different from him, and he's kind of incorporating a few more elements that I'm sure we'll see on his next album. And another artist that I'm really hoping has a new album soon is A$AP Rocky, and at number 33 we've got his newest single, Shitting Me.
Shitting me, gotta be kidding me.
This was a nice unexpected release from A$AP Rocky, and the music video that went alongside it is really cool as well, really creative as usual from A$AP Rocky. His music videos are always really high production and really cinematic. But yeah, I'm hoping we see a new album from him. He hasn't released anything since Testing, which I think came out in 2018, and that album definitely grew on me. I think it's a really, really good album. So I'm really hoping he releases something next year. Now at number 32, we have one of the legends of the UK grime scene. It's Giggs with Time.
Up early on that morning rush for years. Blueprint, building a construction.
Now, I will admit that I was kind of losing hope in Giggs because the last couple of years of music, his features, they really haven't been very good. Nothing compared to what he's used to making. So pretty much every time he releases a new song or he's featured on a new song, I don't really bother checking it out anymore. But for some reason, when this one came out, I was like, you know what, I'll give it a go. And it's an absolutely brilliant song from him. It really reminds me of his release a few years ago, The Essence, which I think is one of his most underrated songs. I think he works best when he's on this kind of music, you know, the chilled, laid-back beats. I think he kind of flows best on that, and his voice is really suited for that kind of music. I love that piano riff in the background. It's really simple, but it's really effective. And overall, I think it's probably one of the best singles I've heard from him for quite a while. Yeah, number 31, we have everyone's favourite duo with Silk Sonic and Love's Train.
She said, sugar, honey, darling.
This song was appropriately released on Valentine's Day of this year, and it actually is a cover. It's by Confunction back in 1982. But this isn't a cover for the sake of it being a cover. It's kind of their own unique take on it, and it's just another fantastic song. Silk Sonic keeps smashing it out of the park, and I'm really hoping that Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars do a world tour, because you know they've done a load of Vegas shows this year, but considering how big the album was, how many awards they won this year, I think they definitely can do a world tour, and I'm hoping they do. I'm also hoping they release some more music, because everything they've put out has been absolutely fantastic. And you know, even if they just do covers, they still add something new to it. It's still different elements to it, and it doesn't feel like they're milking it. It's really refreshing, and yeah, I'm hoping that we see more of them next year. Okay, number 30, we've got Fireboy DML with Timothy. This song kind of went under the radar a little bit. It was released as part of his album Playboy in August, but it also featured a song called Peru with Ed Sheeran, which pretty much dominated, you know, most of the streams for the album. So I think it's a bit of a sleeper hit from him, but it's a really cool, chilled, laid-back song, and I've listened to it so much over the last couple of months. I love it. At number 29, we have Tempest with Prisoner of Desire.
And I stayed the night.
Tempest are a really cool band. They released 3 singles this year and all of them are fantastic. They've only got 1 album to their name so far, but I'm pretty sure there's a new one coming out because of all the singles they're releasing. And I love the feel of their music so far. It's very old-timey, kind of reminds me a bit like Lord Huron, that kind of music. But out of the 3 singles they released, I think Prisoner of Desire is probably my favourite. And moving on to number 28, we have Still Woozy and Remy Wolf with Paul. Now, Remy Wolf and Still Woozy is a fantastic team up. I'm really glad this single came out. It works really well. They work fantastically well together. And yeah, yet again, another fantastic Still Woozy song. It's kind of hard for him to make a bad song at this point, but yeah, another solid release by him. And at number 27, we have Sports with Damn I'm Tired. Now, this is part of their album Get a Good Look, which came out this year. I've only heard 2 songs in it so far, this one and Baby Baby, and both of them are really, really cool songs. So yeah, it's another album that I'll definitely be checking out, and I'll definitely have a reaction to it on this channel in the near future. Okay, so now we're moving into the second half of the video now with the top 26, and the first of which is Red Hot Chili Peppers' Not the One. I spoke about this one a lot in my top albums video, but this is definitely the standout single from the album. There's quite a few on there which I really liked, but I think this one just took it for me. I think it's probably because of Flea's bass work on this. I think the bass lines are really cool. The outro riff is really cool as well. It's like a 4 or 5 minute song, and I kind of wait listening to the whole song, just waiting for that last 30 seconds because it is so good. And yeah, overall it is a really fantastic project from the Chili Peppers, but I think this one for me really stood out. Okay, now at number 25 we have the Black Keys with It Ain't Over. Now, just like the Chili Peppers, the Black Keys album this year was full of so many good songs, really solid songs. I don't know what we're getting from the Black Keys now. Their last 2 albums have been pretty similar, but I don't have a problem with that. I think the music has been brilliant. I think the standout for me has probably got to be It Ain't Over, but there's quite a few to choose from. But yeah, I think this one really stood out for me the most. Okay, now at number 24, we have Harry Styles with Cinema. This is yet another song that I spoke about in my albums video, but yeah, really solid project from Harry Styles. Really love it. It's actually behind me on the wall there. And yeah, there were so many good songs to choose from, but I think Cinema for me was really cool. It's really poppy and really stood out. It's not actually the only Harry Styles song I have on the list so far, spoiler alert, but yeah. Number 24 for me is Cinema. And number 23 we have The Wallows with At the End of the Day. This is yet another song that I spoke about in my album, but yeah, I won't speak about it too much because I've spoke about it before, and yeah, it's just one of my favourites on the album. Really solid project, more good music from The Wallows. If you haven't checked out The Wallows, definitely recommend it. They're a fantastic little band, and I think they'll have a big year in 2023, so yeah, definitely check them out. Okay, now number 22, we have Anna of the North featuring Gus Dapperton with Meteorite. Anna of the North is another artist that I never actually heard of before I heard this song, but I just discovered her one day, and this was the song that I discovered with it, and I think it was because it was featuring Gus Dapper and it got recommended to me or something like that. But a really, really cool song, really poppy song. Not usually the type of music that I listen to, but it's been on repeat really for the whole year. And yeah, Gus Dapperton, again, like I said in the last song, he's had a fantastic year, and he adds a lot to this song as well. Yeah, really cool song, and I'll definitely be checking out more of Anna of the North in the future. Okay, next up, number 21, we have Drake and 21 Savage with On BS. This was a collaborative album that I've been waiting for a long time. I think a lot of us have, so I'm really happy that it came out this year, and I don't think it disappointed. I think it's a really solid album, some really good songs on there. I think it gave 21 Savage a fantastic platform to grow, and I think Drake kind of needed it after the terrible release of Honestly Nevermind. So I think this album kind of saved his year a little bit, and there were so many good songs on here. But I think the one that I keep going back to the most is probably On BS, because I really just love the beat. And yeah, for that reason, I put it at number 21. Okay, moving into the top 20, we have Current Joys with Cooking. Now, you've probably heard of Current Joys. It's the side project for Nick Rattigan from Surf Curse, and you've probably heard their biggest hit, which is Kids. I don't know what it is about Current Joys and Surf Curse, but their music, I can't get enough of their music. I really love it. I really want to dig deep more into their discographies next year, especially Current Joys, because literally every song I've heard from them has just been absolutely fantastic. It's really creative. Not kind of a bit bare bones in terms of the actual music, like there's not too much happening, but it just really works with his voice and the instrumentation. And this single Cooking is just another example of how you can kind of make simple music really effective. You know, it's just kind of one or two guitarists throughout the whole thing, but really cool drums, really cool bass, great vocals. But it's been a pretty quiet year for Current Joys, not so much Surf Curse. We'll talk about them later on in the video. But yeah, they didn't do too much this year, but this single that came out a few months ago at this point, I think it was, yeah, really solid. Another example of just how good Nick Rattigan really is. And at number 19, we have the Australian band DMAs with Vile. Now, DMA's have always got a special place in my heart, as they were the first band I actually saw live at my first gig. But I really haven't listened to them as much as I should. The first 3 projects I absolutely loved from them, especially their EP. I think their EP was fantastic. But I haven't listened to their newest album, and I'm pretty sure they've got another album coming out next year, so I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that, and I'll definitely be checking out their previous stuff as well. But this song, Vile, was really cool. It reminded me of their old stuff, kind of like Melbourne and Straight Dimensions. Yeah, DMA's a really solid band, but I wasn't really expecting them to be in my top 20 favourite songs of the year, but here we go. Okay, now moving on to the top 18 songs, and at number 18 we have Local Natives and Desert Snow. Local Natives are a really cool band that I definitely need to listen to more of. I really love their previous songs like Lost and I Saw You Close Your Eyes. But they also released another really good song this year called Just Before the Morning. But for me, Desert Snow was really cool. It was released alongside a song called Hourglass, but I think Desert Snow for me really stood out. And yeah, definitely one of my favourite songs of the year. Yeah, Local Natives is a really cool band. And yeah, I just really love their music. It's really kind of laid back, really chill, but kind of deep and meaningful as well. And moving on to number 17, we have Arctic Monkeys' Hello You. Now, I spoke about this album quite in depth during my Albums of the Year video, but I think overall kind of disappointed with the album. Not you know, I didn't not like it, but in terms of what I was expecting, I don't think it was as good as maybe when I first listened to it I thought it was. Usually, you know, when you listen to songs a few more times, they kind of grow on you, but I don't feel like a lot of songs this album did, apart from Hello You. I think it is because it kind of feels mostly similar to, you know, the kind of native Arctic Monkeys sound that we're kind of used to in previous years. It's just kind of a combination of fantastic melodies and a nice little guitar riff in the background that's really catchy, and it just made you want to listen to it over and over again, which I don't think can really be said about a lot of the other songs on this album. But for me, definitely Hello You is a standout. It isn't the only Arctic Monkeys song on this list, so I'll definitely say it is in my top 2 favourite on the album. Okay, next up, number 16, we have Phoenix and Tonight. This is a really cool song from a really solid band. I think any band that kind of sings and performs in their non-native language, you know, Phoenix are French and they sing in English, it really impresses me. And they've been making fantastic music for quite a few years now, and they did release a new album this year, and one of the songs on there was Tonight. When I first heard this song, the first thing I wanted to do was go and learn a little guitar, which I did, and it's a really fun song to play along with. It's quite a fast-paced song, there isn't much downtime during the music, so it's actually really fun to listen to, play along with. And it actually was featured on this year's FIFA soundtrack, which I didn't actually know until about 3 months into it, because I played with the sound of. Now, speaking of songs that are on the FIFA 23 soundtrack, we have number 15, Gorillaz' Baby Queen. Yeah, another song I didn't actually know was on the FIFA soundtrack. But it actually came out a few months after. I think it came out in November. So it wasn't actually released on streaming platforms until a couple of months after it was on the actual game. So I'm not sure what the reason for that was. So the Gorillaz have had a good year this year. They've released 4 singles. You know, I quite like Cracker Island with Thundercat. Wasn't the biggest fan of it, but it's a pretty cool song. But for me, it was between Baby Queen and New Gold featuring Tame Impala as to which one I was going to put on this list. And I absolutely love New Gold. I think it's so catchy. It is a really, really cool song. But for me, Baby Queen just kind of had that, you know, that fact that when you listen to something, or when you listen to a song for the first time and you just want to keep listening to it and listening to it and listening to it to the point where you get sick of it. That's what's happened with this song. I'm not sick of it yet, but when it came out, I heard it and I was just like, something clicked in me and I was like, wow, I want to listen to that again and again and again. I listened to it for like a week straight. So yeah, I'm not sick of it yet, but yeah, one of my favourite Gorillaz songs that they've released in a very long time. Okay, now moving on to number 14, we have Danger Mouse and Strangers. This song was released in August as part of Danger Mouse's collaborative album with Black Thought called Cheat Codes. And the song features A$AP Rocky and Run the Jewels, which is a fantastic duo. And for me, I think it's one of the best beats of the year. I think just listening to the instrumentation on its own, just listen to the instrumental, it's just absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I think definitely one of the best beats of the year for me. There's also another song on this album called Belize featuring MF Doom, and that's also a really cool song. So it's kind of a toss-up between those two, but I think I've definitely listened to Strangers more than Belize at this point. And yeah, it's yet another album that I definitely am really eager to check out, because from what I've heard of it so far, it's absolutely brilliant. Okay, moving on to number 13, we have the second Wallow song on this list, and it is Wish Me Luck. Now, you've already heard me talk about the Wallows in this video, so I won't speak about it too much, but this song actually came out a couple of weeks ago, but as soon as I heard it, I knew it was one of my favourite songs of the year, and it's been on repeat ever since. Okay, moving on to number 12, we have Man-Made Sunshine and Life's Gonna Kill You If You Let It. So this was the first single released by Connor Mason as part of his solo project. You may know Connor from his band Nothing But Thieves. And I'm really glad that Connor is going into his own solo music, because I really love the stuff he does with Nothing But Thieves. And I feel like he's got such a wide range of kind of musical talent, because his voice is absolutely incredible. He can reach these notes that I've never really heard anyone male singers reach before. So I'm really kind of just happy to have more music from him, because Nothing But Thieves don't release songs too regularly, but if he's doing his own stuff alongside them, you know, it's a win-win, because it's just going to be more music. And yeah, this was a bit of a surprise for me. I didn't know he was actually setting up his own solo project, but I was really happy to see that he did it. And yeah, he released this song, and then a few weeks later he released his debut EP, which is just a self-titled EP. I actually do own the EP, but I haven't actually listened to the whole thing yet, so I will be doing a reaction to this on the channel in the near future. And yeah, I don't usually buy vinyls without listening to them first, but I thought I'd just support Connor, because I've been listening to Nothing But Thieves for many a year, and I've seen him live so many times. So, you know, I know it's not going to disappoint. I know this song is definitely one of my favorites of the year that came out. So yeah, I'm going to listen to that album sometime soon. And at number 11, we have Drake's Jimmy Cooks.
Fuck a pigeonhole, I'm a night owl, it's a different mode. I'ma have to make a paint of 6 on a pinky toe.
Now, I don't know really where to begin with this album, to be honest, but I did react to it, and I have it edited. I just need to upload it, so there will be my actual reaction to the album on this channel sometime soon. It came out quite a long time ago now, but I've never actually released it, but I will be releasing it soon. And yeah, you'll get the chance to see my actual in-time reaction to the album. But you know, to keep it brief, it was not a good album. It's probably the worst Drake album in my opinion. A few songs on there that definitely grew on me, like Texco Green and Sticky, but I don't think it's an unpopular opinion to say that this album was absolutely terrible. I respect what he did with it, what he was trying to do, kind of infiltrate that dance market, but it's not what he needed. I don't think it's not what his fans wanted. But there was one saving grace, and it was the very last song on the album, called Jimmy Cooks, featuring 21 Savage. And of course, we got the 21 Savage collaboration later on in the year, and I don't think it's a coincidence that the best song on here featured 21 Savage, because yeah, I think without that song it probably would have gone down as, I think it's definitely Drake's worst project, but I think it probably would have gone down as the worst album of the year if it wasn't for that saving grace right at the end. It's such a cool beat, and I think it was because we hadn't heard anything like that on this album, and I think it was the 11th or 12th song. It just sounded like a normal Drake song really, which was refreshing, but it had a really cool beat, great flow. The back and forth between him and 21 was great. 21 Savage's verse was fantastic. Great wordplay from Drake as well. And yeah, very glad this song was on that album. Otherwise, I think it would have been a complete dumpster fire. Okay, so now we're moving on to my top 10 favourite songs of the year. And at number 10, we have Yellow Days, Slow Dance, and Romance.
She just came to dance. That's a fine romance.
Now, this song was released as part of the EP Slow Dance and Romance, and it was actually included in my albums of the year, even though it wasn't an actual album, it's an EP, but still. I think I found it a good time, or discovered it a good time in my life, you know, just due to personal reasons. I think it kind of really helped me at that point. But it's something a bit different than the rest of the songs on this list. And if you want to hear me talk about this song a bit more, then definitely check out my albums of the year video, where I kind of discuss it a bit more, and the other songs on the EP in more detail. So yeah, that was number 10. And at number 9 now we have Pusha T and Neck and Wrist. So this song was released as a single and featured Jay-Z and Pharrell Williams. It's the first bit of music that we really heard from Pusha T in a very long time, and it just came out of nowhere, and it just absolutely took me by surprise. And I was really, really happy with how it turned out, really, because yeah, like I said, I wasn't expecting to release anything, but he came out with this song, and it's such a high quality in production, really catchy, fantastic beat, great lyricism, and obviously putting Pharrell and Jay-Z on the same song together, it's always going to work well. And I think even when the album came out, absolutely loved the album. And I still think this is probably my favourite from the album. And yeah, even though he's pushing his mid-40s, yeah, Pusha T still has it, still got it, and hopefully hear some more from him next year as well, because he had a really fantastic year in terms of his own music and his features. Okay, next up at number 8, we have Kevin Morby and Bittersweet Tennessee.
I'll have one on me, bittersweet.
Kevin Morby's a guy that's been on my radar for quite a few years now. He's been releasing fantastic music for a while, and he's really talented. Believe it or not, this is another album that I need to listen to, but it is on my list of albums to check out. And yeah, a bit similar to the Yellow Days song. I think it just kind of came at the right time in my life. It really helped me through like a difficult period. It's probably not the best song on this list overall, but in terms of ones that kind of impacted me the most this year, I think this song, yeah, really helped out. And yeah, it featured Erin Ray, and it's a really beautiful song. I love the use, I think it's a sitar, I think, doing the riff, or a banjo, I'm not really too sure, but it's a really lovely song. Definitely check it out. A bit more slow, but yeah, really nice song. Okay, stick to the theme of slower paced songs. We have number 7, which is Hosier and Swan Upon Leader. Now, Hosier is another one of those artists that everything he puts out is just really good and solid. And I loved his album a few years ago, the Wasteland Baby album. But this song, Song Upon Leader, is one of my favorite songs of the year. Very laid back, very chill, very melancholic. Now, as much as I like this song, I am a bit disappointed because apparently Hosier was meant to be releasing his album this year, but he never did. But usually, when the album's delayed, it can only be a good thing. To means the artist isn't entirely happy with it, or he's making adjustments, or just want to make it as best as they can. So yeah, I'm sure at some point next year we'll see a new Hosier album. But this song here, absolutely fantastic. I only discovered it a little while ago, but instantly it's one of my favorites. It's been on repeat ever since. There's a really cool live version as well, where it's just him on the acoustic and someone on the piano. But yeah, it goes to showcase how fantastic his vocals are. So yeah, hopefully we see more of him next year. Now moving on to number 6, we have Men I Trust and Billy Toppy. Men I Trust is a band that I discovered this year, and every song I've heard from them so far has been absolutely fantastic, including all their older stuff to the newer stuff. It's all been brilliant. Their music's just really cool. I love bands that really utilize, bass guitars and things like that, and their music definitely does that. Billy Toppy's a really fun song, really catchy song, fast-paced. And in terms of the instruments, it's actually tuned a whole step down. And there's not a lot of songs that actually do that anymore. And there's actually not many in total that have ever done that. So really happy to see another band actually utilize the whole step down tuning, because I don't think it's used as much as it should be. And it's not being utilized as much as it could definitely be. This is a really cool song. I think Men I Trust are just going to get better and better. They're kind of dominating the sort of indie scene at the moment. And I think they're going to be a really big band in the future. Okay, so now moving on to the top 5. And at number 5, we have Harry Styles, As It Was. I don't think this is an unpopular pick, considering it's one of the biggest songs of the year. But As It Was, I think it came out in April or May or something like that. But ever since it's come out, still don't get sick of hearing it, even though it's pretty much overplayed everywhere. But yeah, I don't get sick of it personally. Absolutely love it. Fell in love with it the first time I heard it. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are probably sick of it now. But for me personally, one of my favourite songs of the year, and it's been played throughout the whole year. Okay, number 4, we have another lead single. It's from Arctic Monkeys, this time Body Paint.
Still a trace of body paint on your legs and on your arms and on your face.
Now this is the definition of a grower, because when I first heard it, I wasn't too keen on it. It was the second single they released after the Bet Being Mirrorball. When I first started listening to it the first 2 minutes or so, it was very similar to the past song. It was very similar to what we've heard before in terms of the Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino in 2018. And I was kind of getting a bit worried, because I was like, are they going to go in this direction again, where, it's just this kind of jazzy kind of music? And although they did on the album, I think it probably is one of the best Arctic Monkeys songs ever. It's one that I had to listen to a few times to really get into it. And like I said, the first couple of minutes were a bit boring. There was that bit in the middle where they kind of sounded like Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles. But then when the outro kicks in with a body paint part, I think it's absolutely fantastic. And it's really cool when there's a part of the song, a bit like Not the One with Red Hot Chili Peppers. There's a part of the song that you really like, and it's right at the end. It kind of forces you to listen to the whole song and enjoy the start of the song a bit more, because you know that towards the end is your favorite part of the song. And that is the same case for Body Paint, where the last minute or a minute and a half is absolutely incredible. Going to see them live next year, I'm sure this one live is absolutely brilliant. They kind of use this one as the single on talk shows and things like that, and when they're playing it live, you can tell how much they enjoy playing it. You can see Alex Turner loving it, and it's a really fun song live as well. So yeah, I think in terms of the production, the quality, the instrumentation, the way it moves about in the sort of different segments of the song, I think I'll put my neck out and say it probably is one of the best Arctic Monkeys songs ever, or at least one of the best Arctic Monkeys songs released in the last 10 years or so. Okay, so now we're moving on to the top 3, and at number 3 we have Serve Curse with Lost Honor.
In the public eye, live a private life. I don't wanna live and die in the public eye.
Now this was really hard to pick my favourite from this album, because they released so many good songs this year. Serve Curse, the likes of Self Portrait, Arrow, Sugar, TVI. But for some reason, this song really stood out to me. I think it's the way it kind of jumps back and forth between his different riffs and different choruses. Again, a bit like the Arctic Monkeys song, the Red Hot Chili Peppers song. The last minute and a half is absolutely fantastic. And I saw them live in September, and this song definitely was one of the highlights of their set list. It was crazy because not a lot of people actually knew it because the song only came out a week or so before, so I didn't really know it that much. The crowd didn't know it very much, but the way the song pans out, it was really easy to know when the sort of more hyper moments were, like the mosh pits and things like that. And the band really enjoyed playing it, and it was crazy in the actual venue. Yeah, Surf Curse, one of my favorite albums of the year, and so many good songs on there. But I think for me, Lost Honor probably has to be one of the highlights for me personally. Okay, so now we're at the end of the video, and it's my top 2 songs of the year. And coming in at number 2 is JID, Dance Now.
Look, JID back in the city with it. JID done been all across the globe. They say JID a scribbler, he's silly with it.
And this was an absolutely incredible song. It's the first we heard from JID for a while, and it was released as a single before the album came out alongside Surround Sound with 21 Savage. And not only that, it had a fantastic video alongside as well on his YouTube channel. Go check it out if you haven't, it's absolutely brilliant. And I think if there's a song that really epitomizes JID's delivery, his flow, production quality on his songs, the use of choruses and fantastic singing and things like that, I think this is the perfect example of it. There's a fantastic structure to the song with the verses, the chorus, the verses, the hooks, all that kind of stuff, and he just displays, you know, every element of how good he actually is as a rapper. Probably my favorite rapper, and I think this song really epitomizes why. You know, some of the lyrics on here, like I'm still listening to the song now, and I'm only just getting the lyric, or I'm just hearing what he's saying. It's incredible, and some of the flows, the way he rhymes words with other words, is absolutely incredible. Chorus is beautiful, and yeah, it's got the great elements of, you know, humor, but also, you know, some pretty dark stuff in there as well. But overall, it's just a fantastic song, and yeah, like I said, it just really shows how talented JID really is, and I personally think he's one of the best in the game at delivery, flow, lyricism. So yeah, this one was very close to being my favorite song of the year, but my number 1 spot for my favorite song of 2022 has to go to Foles with 2 AM. Now, this was released as part of their album Life Is Yours. I weren't too sure what to expect from the Foles, their newest album, because they haven't released anything for a couple of years, ever since Everything Not Safe Be Lost Part 1 and Part 2. But apparently this was written during lockdown, and the idea for the band was to try and make something a bit more sort of positive and uplifting, as everything was so depressing on the outside world. So they stuck themselves in the studio and they produced this album, which I think is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the Foles' best projects in my opinion, and there's some really good songs on here. Probably the standouts, probably 2001, Flutter, and 2 AM. But yeah, for me, 2 AM just really stands out. I love pretty much every element of it. It incorporates all the things that Foles are great for, which is their guitar work, the drum work. Yanis's singing is fantastic, and it's just such a sort of upbeat, dancey song. I had a holiday with my best mates this year in Portugal as well, and this was like the song of the summer for us as well. Like, we played it every day around the pool and all things like that. And yeah, for that reason, I think it just has to be my favorite song of the year. Guitar riff is so catchy, it's absolutely brilliant. And when they're playing it live, it's great because it's not too hard for Yanis to play and sing at the same time, so he kind of brings all the energy to the singing and things like that. And yeah, I think it kind of adds as well to what I've kind of discovered that I like when at the end of the song is your favorite part of the song, because, you know, it makes the rest of the song a bit more bearable if you don't like it as much. Seen it a few times with Surf Curse, Arctic Monkeys, Red Hot Chili Peppers this year. But yeah, the outro to this song is absolutely brilliant. When the guitar riff matches the melody, it's absolutely fantastic. It's another song that I saw live as well, and it's even better live than it is on the record. And for what was a really successful project, in my opinion, from the Foles, I think 2 AM is probably my favorite one on there, and I think it just has to be my favorite song of the year. Okay, so that was my top 50 songs of the year. Let me know if you agree with any of them, or if any of the songs are also in your top 50. And also let me know what some of your favorite songs of the year were, and if I missed out on any really good songs. I'll leave a link to my Spotify playlist with all these songs on there if you're interested in checking them out. And over the next couple of days, I'll also be releasing 2 more videos in a similar style to this. One of those will be my top 50 songs that I discovered this year, so not necessarily songs that came out, but songs that I discovered this year. And the other one being the top 50 indie songs that I discovered this year that may have gone under your radar and I think are worth checking out. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then please consider subscribing, leave a like if you enjoyed, and I hope you have a nice day.